I'm burning this job right now. All I've got left is this last screen. Right there. Oh. I hold this baby up against the light so that I can see if there are any holes or anything that I need to avoid in the print area. Make sure it's aligned. And then over here I have a really fun blue button that I'm going to press. Alright, screen is done printing. So basically what we do is we print a negative of the end product, basically. So it's backwards, you know, it's mirrored. If you look this way, it's proper. Well, it's upside down right now, but. And then I hold it up again to make sure that the ink printed on smoothly and it looks good. So I come over here to the Starlight. This is our flash unit. This exposes the emulsion to UV light, which cures it. It makes it waterproof and makes it last strong. So this is a 156 mesh. I burn these for about 7 seconds. So we burn that. Looks the exact same, but now this emulsion is waterproof, whereas 8 seconds ago it was water soluble. So if I would have sprayed water on here, it would have just melted the emulsion right off. Now we just come right over here. When I'm by myself back here, I tend to print like 4 or 5 screens and stack them up right here in order. And then I'll just go out there and I'll spray off this ink one by one. And I'll go from the front to back. Right now our special screen that we've been following is in the back. But it's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and skip and do this one right now to show you. How good is it in here? Pretty good. I'm kind of making a video about like what it's like in here. Alright, now we're over here at my washout station. Got my screen here, ready to wash out. My last screen that's been drip drying, I just will rotate it now. I'm gonna go put it in the racks. And it's about to get loud. So basically, this ink right here that we just printed on here, it covers up this orange stuff that's called emulsion during the curing process. So the emulsion that's underneath this ink did not get cured, so it's still water soluble. As is this ink. It stains like crazy. Like if it gets on your hand, it'll stay for days, but it's very water soluble. So I'm about to spray it off to expose the uncured emulsion beneath it, and then I'm going to spray that off as well. Alright, our screen is now all washed out. Now I'm going to let it hang to drip dry, like so. This one I kind of, you can see those edges are a little bit hazy. See that registration mark helps the printers line up multicolored jobs. But you can see it's a little bit hazy on the edges. That's mostly because this is kind of a low mesh screen. So this is the type of screen they would use for really thick inks like white. Because it has a hard time pushing through high mesh screens. But basically, the higher the mesh, the higher the resolution of the print. So this one, it doesn't really have to be very detailed, and especially it doesn't have to be very high mesh or high resolution because it's white ink. So if Troy needed to print very high resolution white, he would have to add a solvent to thin his white ink, and then we would print it on a higher mesh screen. But yeah, that's pretty much that portion of it. When you get things like halftones, and I don't have any examples right now of halftones, but I'll put some on the screen, I guess. But halftones are a little bit harder to wash out. You have to be a little bit more gentle with the sprayer. Make sure you don't like blow away too much of the emulsion. All right, I'm going to wash out a few more screens. Oh, I'm gonna wash out a few more screens, so I'm just gonna time lapse it because it's kind of cool to watch, but that's a pretty big part of my job. That's like a quarter of my job is washing out screens. So, I'm not sure if you could tell, but I spent a great deal of time on the registration marks. And this tiny little guy right here, it's a little rough around the edges. I kind of blew it out a little bit. I was going a little hard there. But the reason I was focusing on these sweet spots are because they're spots of fine detail. So with all this big block of stuff, it's very easy. I can hit it kind of hard, or I can just gently blow in it for a while and it'll sweep right off. But in these tiny areas, the emulsion is a little bit harder to get off of the screen. So you have to take your sweet time and be very gentle. Because if you hit it a little too hard with the pressure washer, I'll show you what can happen. Alright, I'm just going to show you what it looks like when you blow out an image. This screen has been used and stuff. Normally I wouldn't have one of these in my washout station. So this is a job I did the other day. The artwork was messed up, so I had those really thin lines. As you can see, we can blow the emulsion away where it's not supposed to be blown away. Now, if I were doing this for real, that would be completely ruined. I would have to reshoot it once again, start from scratch. New screen, print a new job and all that. I'd have to start over. Alright, we're gonna put this baby in the drying rack and let that fan dry it off. Probably take about 15 or 20 minutes, but if my printers really need it, I can get it dry in probably like 5 to 7 minutes by wiping all the excess water off with a rag and then spraying it with compressed air. That's pretty close to the end of the process for our little screen. There's a couple more steps, and I'll show those here in a little bit, but I figured I'd stop and give like a little tour of kind of everything all at once. So basically, this is my dark room, or we call it the burn room. So this is my coater, the Unicoat. That's where I coat my screens. For the small textile screens, I hang them there in that rack. For the large ones, I hang them there in that rack. That's my computer where my files are sent over. It's my iMage where everything's printed. We've got some various knickknacks, you know, gloves and all that. Some extra stuff, extra emulsion, gloves, and a few like parts and stuff. It's my Starlight. These are our little cubbies. It's me and Eddie's little personal cubbies. Tape, extra gas masks and goggles, troughs for coating, all that stuff. Gas masks. Here are some, you're not gonna really be able to see them, it's too dark in here, but these were some tests. I was trying to see how good I could get a print to come out. So those were some trials from a couple years ago. Whenever Troy gives me work orders, Troy is the head of screen print for textile. So whenever he gives me these textile orders, he puts them either on this clipboard, which is basically the less important clipboard, or the urgent clipboard, which is obviously the urgent clipboard. So that tells me how quickly I need to do something. That's my washout station. It's about to get loud in here. My Ecotechs. These are screens that need to be degreased. I'll probably do like a video of that, a bunch of degreasing real quick. Obviously, those screens have been degreased. These ones, some of them are screens that have been degreased and dried, but a lot of these just need to be taken out to the printers. I tape these small ones. I tape those before I bring them over most of the time, so I can show that as well. It's where they stack up their screens. Here are a few screens. I actually popped this one in the making of this video. I already showed that. Those are gonna get sent out tomorrow and replaced. We have dehumidifiers in here to suck all that humidity out of the air. Because it can't be too humid or nothing will work right. Not yet. It's about to get loud. Alright, this is where I store my extra degreased screens. So if I need to coat some, I can come over here and get them. Over here, to bring out some screens for the screen printers. I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, as is customary, Troy stopped me in the middle of what I was doing because he's very needy. No, I'm just making a joke. Alright, I got all these babies out here in their respective work orders. So basically, I have to write on each work order which screen goes in which slot on the rack, and then I hang up their work orders that they pull from. See, they all have letters on them. That's that. They're all laid out. The last step is putting my little Expo marker back. I'm going to show you one of the very last steps that our screens will go through. So before I bring this screen to Troy, I tape it up for him. I tape the edges, the corners, I guess edges, so that whenever he prints on it, see, the corners, the edges are not covered with emulsion, so the ink will push right through there. Unless you tape it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. But masking tape in all the corners. Awkwardly walking through the entire building with my camera, which I'm not going to do.